What you're looking at is a prophetic declaration that was made by the Almighty. Early 90s, I understood that it was made early 90s. I had to go and interview those key persons who were the leaders of the youth group at the time. The leader himself at that time was Elder Osita Anya, and the coordinating minister of the youth was Levite Emeka Okonkwo. This current Kohen Gadol was the deputy youth leader or president. And the Almighty said that he will bring many elects to join and worship him from across the world in our community, in this land called Nobi. And they will come from various nations, from all the continents of the world. But he would want the youth to also build him not a camp, not just a hostel, but he would want them to build him a guest house. And so the generation at the time did their job, but they really couldn't finish, because at some point we start to entertain fears and doubts. Perhaps, oh Musa, Choi little the money. Perhaps, Elelanya, they won't give me any room. And so their faith could not carry them to do the project. And what the Almighty said at that time was that if that generation would complete and accomplish that task, this project, the guest house, and give him the key, that he, God, will elevate them across the world. But that generation came and that generation went. In interviewing them, I met Elder Ben Wosu, who was a youth at the time. And he remembered everything vividly because it was a promise that he really cherished that much. But they tried and they built something, but they did not accomplish the task. And you remember that, for example, when Naaman was told to go into the river Jordan, how many times? 7 times. Did his healing come at the 6th time? No. So for God, you must accomplish your task A to Z for him to take over the remaining. Unfortunately, that generation that pledged their 20 naira, their 10 naira every week, 20 naira was for the working class, 10 naira was for the non-working class and students. So students paid, non-working class paid, the jobless paid each week. And then eventually we had a building and we could accommodate it, but it was not in the manner that the Almighty expected, the guest house. And so in 2017, while we were preparing for the Tabernacles, Feast of Tabernacles, I was inspired to go to Enugu to meet the Kohen Gadol, to ask him if he has any program for the youth. Knowing that I was, just about 3 years before then, I was appointed 3 years earlier as youth leader with the rest of the team. And then he angrily went upstairs and said, what is the point? Why should we have any interaction when there is a project that you have abandoned? And that is this project, obviously. And he also mentioned that we can do up and down, dance whatever we want to do and be in the house of God. Without accomplishing this, we will again repeat the stunted growth of our forbearers. In August, the Almighty went, and I'm calling specific names so that you can also interview them. The Almighty went to meet Chinedu Melo in Owerri. One night, a Thursday night, around 2 a.m., where he, like many of us, always complain. Shebi, you first talk, say, you go carry us to the highest level of the world. I don't observe Shabbat, observe and sote. The world knows me. On Facebook, I wear my garments. And then he slept off. In that dream, a certain man came to meet him and was laughing and told him that as far as heaven is concerned, this youth will not progress. And indeed, we can say, God forbid, But what has come out of the mouth of God has come out. And then he said, until they go and take up the responsibility that God has given to them, then God will elevate them to the highest level across the world. And then he told them that, have you observed, he told Chinedu Umelo in that dream, have you observed that in your 20s, your men have no aspiration to get married. In your 30s, it is a fight and struggle to get married. Let's not talk about the women. That the women just keep crying and crying and crying for God to show mercy. And he also said, even in acquiring properties, it is not popular for a youth to say, I have 2 buildings or I own a car. And truly, these days, that we show off that we have something is in fine garments. It's in fine garments. So you see, in a gathering like this, Youth Connect, how many cars can you see outside? If you have not thought about that, I have thought about it. And I don't need any prophecy other than what God himself has said. How can you come to this gathering and you call them the youths of the great God of glory, yet their cars are not reflective of the number of people inside the festival arena? And I'm not sure how you describe that, if it is a blessing or a curse. So, my brothers and sisters, this is what is facing before us. Around 2018, the leadership of the youth group, discussed dedicating this house. And I was really moved to see how I can go and take loans from outside and finish the building. But Brother Ikenna Iseluka mentioned and said, it will not be right that only one person or 2 persons will accomplish this. And during dedication, all the youth will be gathered here. And then he asked me, guess who will be blessed? And I said clearly, only those 2 people. And he said, that will not be a blessing. Because if 2 people are blessed in a crowd like this, all of them will line up for school fees for their children. And that is not a blessing. And so, we have to delay again. Going from synagogue to urge you, to encourage you to take up this responsibility. And so, here facing us is the building that has been undergoing renovation. We're trying to give it a facelift that will befit the projects God has said these youths should do. And in Orile, which was again confirmed by the Spirit of the Lord in Vanguard the following March 2018, the Lord said that there are 7 people he will elevate, 7. And their names will be heard across the entire world. These 7 will also uplift several other people in our community. I don't know who those 7 people are, but the Lord knows them. If the Lord was able to recognize David in the bush, I'm sure the Lord knows who the 7 are. So my brothers and sisters, we have taken a resolution that by April, we shall dedicate this house. Amen. And we are very resolute. We have given time. We have spent our monies to go to all of your synagogues. And we can't wait that long. We can't wait that long on a selfish note, because even we too, we are not getting younger. And we want this to be done in our lifetime. And so, we will encourage you. Remember that every youth has a minimum of 30,000 naira to contribute. Now, I understand that some will say they don't have money, 30,000 naira, where will I raise it? But you can do the math. If you raise 2K every week, 1K every day, for the next 3 months, you will raise this amount. Because you know that this is your fighting chance to a very good life. Your fighting chance to be recognized for upliftment. I'm sure if you call it a responsibility, you can meet elders who will give you 1K. You can meet mothers who will give you 500 naira. And in a short time, you would have been able to gather the monies. Again, I also understand that some of our youth leaders are not interested in this project, and we know them. A number of them are scattered all around the regions, names withheld. But please, if you call this a responsibility, don't wait for your youth leader to give you all the information. So for you, you can reach out to me directly. Obviously, you know I'm on Facebook. If you don't have my number is everywhere. You can get it. Our account details are also everywhere. You can also ask for it, and you pay. When you are done making your payment, you tell God, you are the one who instructed, and I have accomplished it. Please, mark my name for elevation. During the dedication, we shall be giving 7 awards for recognition. The synagogue with the highest contribution, the youth leader will come forward to receive it, and we shall recite a recitation. The regional youth leader, whose region gave the highest contribution, will also be recognized. The regional coordinator as well will also be recognized. And the individual youths with the highest contribution will also be recognized, male and female. And then we shall give special awards to a number of people. There are some youths that have taken to carry concrete, or like they say on the streets, concrete on their heads. They come here to work. There are some who are carpenters. They come here to work. They don't have money, but they have their time. And so they are pledging it to work. You'll see them when you come for the new moon. So my brothers and sisters, on the final notes, in one of the rooms, we will create a wall that shall have, it will be called Wall of Remembrance. A wall that will have the names of all the youths that contributed to this project. And here is why. For me, it's a very personal thing. It's a big challenge for a father to show his children what he did during his time. So that 10 years from now, 15 years, 20 years from now, I can carry my sons and my daughters and we'll come to the wall and say, can you search the name of your father and the name of your mother? These are the things we did for God during our time. And the Lord has been faithful. We expect that he will do much greater. There will be evidence. So, for all of those that contribute and participate, our names will be in a wall called Wall of Remembrance.